we get to the end of this first chapter, I find myself seeing the same things that I saw when I started looking at this chapter in those first few verses, and in the one I looked at last time about prayer. This business of being aligned, lined up. It makes me think about a game called Marble Run. Our kids had it when they were little half pipes that you join together, so work your way down from the top to the bottom, a bit like the mousetrap game. And you lined up these tubes, and then you put a marble in, and it sort of made its way down. So, but basically, it gave a path for the marble to run. And I guess what I'm thinking about as I end this chapter is, this is God's desire to power us. When we're talking about prayer, it's about being open to God conversing with us and touching our own prayers so that they're rooted in Him, so that there's a route through for God's Spirit. I guess as I come to the end, I suppose, how do you allow God that access to your life? I guess if you've never surrendered your life to Jesus, then it is a case of surrender. It is to say, look, God, I'm ready. I'm ready to turn away from my own ways and let you be the power of my life to start again. Baptism, but enacted in an interaction between a person and God, which baptism is a sign of, finishing and starting again. But on a daily basis, as you follow Jesus, how do you do it? How do you clear away the obstacles that have got in the way of God getting through to you? Well, I guess like like clearing a drain or a gutter, it means stopping and making a start. And I think once you've made a start, cleared a bit of the stuff away, then a bit like a tap turning on, God's power comes through and it clears away the rest of the debris. Maybe getting rid of the obstacles is opening the Bible at a place where you've met God before and letting that inspire you. So, what's these last few verses say? Well, they talk about God's power. In other words, God's actual way of working in our reality. Power is what gets things done. Power is the rate of expending energy. It's in watts. How much energy per second. That's power. And this is where God's coming from. Let me just read you the verses as we finish chapter 1. That power, says Paul, is like the working of his mighty strength, which he exerted in Christ. He chose to apply his power this way. He exerted it in Christ when he raised him from the dead and seated him at his right hand in the heavenly realms, far above all rule and authority, power and dominion, and every title that can be given, not only in the present age, but also in the one to come. I guess if we're talking about water coming down pipes, what we're describing here is nothing less than a tsunami and a tidal wave, but not exerted in chaos and destruction, but exerted in care and understanding. And God placed all things under his feet. We've seen God's pre-planning. God placed all things under his feet and appointed him to be the head over everything for the church. So everything's been tidied up and set, and the church is the vehicle. The church, which is his body, the fullness of him who fills everything in every way. That's what the church should look like. That's what the church should feel like. That's what the church should do. What should the church do to enable that to happen better? I suppose it is the same thing. Start again, as some churches do, or clear the obstacles so that the sort of reality of God is here in the midst of us, and for all of us. It's a process of discovery. It's not just do this and it will happen. It's an ongoing relationship, allowing God to be present with us now in our reality and to live in our situations through us and beyond us to the society in which we are. The power of God. Let's be open to it.